Hi, y'all. It's so good to be here, and it's so good to know that y'all are all out there. And I miss seeing people so much, and I know y'all do too. So just know that in my heart right now, this minute, there's like, 60 or 80 people, and I want to hug every single one of you. So, and that's my story for today. It's about my story for today is about love, and it's kind of actually I had to draw a little tear out of my eye here. I got so happy thinking about y'all, I had to have a little tear. It's more like an essay, but y'all can hang with me. And I'm sitting outside on the Bynum Front Porch, so you might hear a car going by, or might hear a lawnmower start up or something. You can deal with it. I know you can. But I had this cat, and it's Eric Bannon's favorite cat, and her name was Checkers. And she was getting older, and she had medical problems. She had like the perfect trifecta of medical problems. She was hyperthyroid. She had too much thyroid, so it means that she was really, really skinny. And she had bad teeth, so that means that she couldn't eat. And then she had a heart condition, like a heart murmur, and so they couldn't give her anesthesia to operate on the teeth. And I couldn't give her the thyroid medicine because when she took it, she just got even skinnier, and she would make her sick to her stomach. And so the last 3 years of her life, I literally spent just praying to try to get this cat to eat. And I tried everything. I would, blenderize the food, and I would get her the special Fancy Feast kitten food, and everything I possibly could. And finally, I figured out the only thing she would eat is tuna. And she wouldn't just eat it like off of a saucer. I couldn't even put it in a blender and blend it up and get her to eat it. I actually had to put it in my mouth and chew it, spit it out, and offer it to her on a little paper plate. And y'all, I like tuna, like ahe tuna, and I love sushi, but canned tuna, it actually kind of makes me gag. And so I would make a little tuna sandwich with just tuna smushed up with a little bit of the juice from the can, and I would put it on a piece of bread, and not like little thin, the thinnest white bread I could find, so it would be giving her too much bread. But so I could put it in my mouth and literally chew it up a little bit without gagging. And then I would, bite into this little bitty sandwich and plop that gob of stinky, nasty tuna out on a paper plate. And I would offer it to Peaches, and Peaches would purr and purr and purr and purr, and she would eat it like it was Thanksgiving dinner. And I'd do that 2 or 3 more times, and I could get enough food into her. And I was in the midst of doing this one day. I was actually in a hurry. I was trying to go. I needed to get to Raleigh or something, somewhere important. And I was trying to feed this cat, and I'm chewing up tuna, and I'm spitting it out, and I'm gagging as I do it. Chewing it up, spitting out, gagging as and finally, as she's eating it and purring, and it's so happy and so glad that and the thought just came to me, this is love. I'm eating something and spitting it back out on a plate because I love her. And she's eating it and terribly, terribly, terribly happy about it because I'm doing something special just for her. That was love. That was love. And it made me start thinking about other things that when I've seen something and I've known that it's love. And I remember my friend Ngozi. A lot of folks that I know will remember him as big, tall fella. I think he lives in Atlanta now. But Ngozi is originally from Nairobi, Africa. His father was a doctor. And when Ngozi was a baby, he had a bad cold. But they didn't have one of those little blue bulbs that you use to suction the nose. And he was so, poor Ngozi, the little baby, the little baby boy was just like, so stuffed up he couldn't even breathe, and it was getting down to the back of his throat, and he was choking. and his dad walked out on the back porch with him. He leaned over, and this is gross, y'all, but it's what happened. He leaned over and literally sucked the snot out of Ngozie's nose. And he got his nose clear, and he got him to where he could breathe, and Ngozi was fine. And it was, when I heard that story, I was like, man, you know, I don't know. I'm sure I probably could, but I can't imagine myself sucking the snot out of anybody's nose. But I guess if I had a beautiful baby boy, as beautiful as I'm sure Ngozi was, I think I could probably do it. Well, and the third story, the other time that I've seen something and I've known that it was love, was, and this is personal to my family, and but I think it's important to tell it. And I don't usually go tell this amount of personal stories about my family. I tell funny stories about camping or going on vacation or fishing or something, but this is a personal story. And my father, about the last 10 years of his life, he was incontinent. He and he, you know, there was lots of accidents. Even if he had on a Depends or something, there was lots of accidents. And both bowel and urinary, he was incontinent. And my mom is an incredibly fastidious woman. I like to tell the story that she gets up in the morning and takes a shower, and then she boils water in the tea kettle on the stove and goes and scalds out the bathtub. That's how fastidious my mom is. Everything is washed and polished and shined within an inch of its life. And you'll get up. You'll get up and, you know, like some lazy hour, like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and go downstairs to get your coffee in Mom's kitchen, and she'll open up her beautiful, clean, sparkling oven, which actually wasn't dirty at all to begin with, and she'll go, I run the deep clean cycle on my oven. I've sterilized the oven. It's just shining this morning, just shining. She's just happy as a clam. But anyway, here was my dad, who was, you know, he was having many strokes, and he was totally incontinent and having accidents. And my mom took care of him at home for 10 years. And I mean, there was times that he was in rehab, like he fell and broke his shoulder, and another time he fell and hurt his wrist or arm or something. He couldn't walk with a walker. And so he was in rehab a few times. He had a pacemaker surgery, and he was in rehab for a little while after that. But mostly for 10 years, my mom took care of him at home. And I can tell you, almost every shelf and every bookcase and every dresser and the mantle right beside the crystal vases and the little wind-up, you know, mantle clock that plays the Westminster chimes, and right beside the antique gilt-framed mirror, there was a roll of paper towels, a box of rubber gloves, and a spray bottle of Clorox water. Every single room, dining room, living room, kitchen, every single room, there was gloves, paper towels, and Clorox spray bottle. And the night he passed away at home, and we were all around him, around his bed, my brother, my sister Lana, my sister Tammy, me, my sister-in-law Debbie, and my mom was at the head of the bed. And the last breath he took, he sat up and he kissed my mom on the cheek, and he mouthed the words, "I love you." And he fell back in bed, and he passed on to the great beyond. And if there is a way, dying, it's always dramatic, it's always hard, it's always painful to lose someone. But if you're gonna go, that's about the best you can do, I think. And that night, as we were waiting for the funeral home to come, and already, like, my Uncle Perry was coming, and the preacher was there, and my Uncle Pete came up the hill and was with us. He's also a preacher. And anyway, I looked around and I saw all these rolls of paper towels and all these bottles of Clorox, and I knew that everybody would look at those and know exactly what had happened. So me and my sister went around the house and we took down with a box. Each one of us had a box, and we gathered up all the boxes of gloves and all the bottles of Clorox and all the paper towels. And I met her about, I think, about the dining room. House, you go around this way and come to the living room, or you can go around that way. It's like the whole house, you just circle around. There's no like one central hallway. But anyway, we both circled around the house and picked up a box full of paper towels and rubber gloves and Clorox. And I met her about the dining room holding this box in front of me. And I looked up at her and I said, Lana, this right here, this is love. Because we know my mom, the fastidious woman that she is, had cared for my dad every single minute of every single day for 10 solid years. So, at Valentine's Day, you'll see, commercials for Kay Jewelers, and you'll see commercials for Jared. He went to Jared. And you'll see, Brock's candy in the grocery store, and Russell Stover's big giant hearts that are covered with like velvet or satin ribbons or fake red roses. And the FDD and the commercials and the flowers and the be sure to send red roses. Don't send yellow roses. Be sure to always send red roses, unless you happen to know that your wife's favorite is yellow. Then you could send her yellow. But it all comes down to, they make like, at CVS, they've got all these like Elvis impersonator bears that sing, I honestly love you, or something like that. Well, y'all, I just want to let y'all know that all that stuff is fine. All those greeting cards that cost about $6 a piece, all those things are fine. All that candy that's wrapped in a satin bows and velvet boxes, all that is fine. But you just remember, though, when you're walking around Walgreens or Kmart or Walmart, wherever it is that Target, wherever it is that you buy your candy hearts and your greeting cards, just remember, you may need to go get one of those little blue bug things, and maybe, go get a couple of cans of tuna and possibly a couple of rolls of paper towels and a bottle of Clorox, because them velvet boxes of chocolates and them teddy bears that sing I'll always love you, and those greeting cards that cost $6, they might represent love, but those cans of tuna and that little blue glove thing, that's what love actually is. All right, that's my story for today, and that's my bedtime story for y'all with all my love. And I just want to tell you, this is the Bynum Sunshine Library, and so if you come by, you can get an awesome, wonderful, beautiful book by a fellow that I love called Gain Steer, and you can get maybe a Nora Roberts or a Daniel Steele, because you might just need a little extra, love in your life. Thank you. I love you, and good night.